Hello everyone, my name is Aastha. I welcome you all to our classes for International English Olympiad for class 5th. This is the 22nd class. Herein what we will be doing is the final leg of the whole program, which is the sample paper. I will be giving you a few tips and guidelines as to how to solve it, and make sure you have revised all the concepts before moving on to the sample paper. Alright, so let's get started.
Now, first of all, before starting, I would like to give you a few tips on how to manage your time during the exam. Now, if you remember these tips, then they would definitely help you somewhat in the exam. All right, let's start. The first important thing is to read the entire question paper carefully. Now, in so many questions, like especially those of tenses and those of, say, antonyms or synonyms, now many questions, if you don't read them carefully, even the reading comprehensions, if you don't read them carefully, then it's highly likely, and it's very likely that you will answer them incorrectly. So it's very important to read it very carefully. All right. Then the second thing is to allocate enough time for each question as per their marks. Now, the HOTS questions. The HOTS questions, the last 5 questions of the Achievers section, they are very important because they carry double the marks. So it is important that you leave sufficient time for the Achievers section questions. And sometimes it is also preferable that you attempt those Achievers section questions first. क्योंकि अगर आप उन्हें पहले अटेम्प्ट कर लोगे तो आपका दिमाग उस टाइम फ्रेश है, राइट? तो आपने पहले वो 5 क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट कर लिए, सो यू आर क्लियर ऑन द फैक्ट दैट कि आपको चलो 5 जो डबल मार्क्स वाले क्वेश्चंस हैं वो सही हो गए. ऑलराइट, सो allocate enough time for each question as per their marks. Now, next, it is also important to leave sufficient time in the end to revise the paper. कि कहीं आपने कोई क्वेश्चन छोड़ तो नहीं दिया है, कहीं कोई क्वेश्चन स्किप तो नहीं हो गया है, या फिर कहीं बाय चांस सपोज यू सी आपने देखा कि हाँ इसका आंसर तो सी है, पर आपने OMR शीट में उसका आंसर बी मार्क कर दिया. So for all these things, it is very important to revise the paper in the end. All right. Alright, so the next point is, don't be afraid to guess. No negative marking. Now, as I have told you time and again that it is very important for you to attempt all the questions. Why? Because there is no negative marking. Suppose you don't know the exact correct answer to a question, but आप guess कर पा रहे हो कि शायद इसका ये होगा, तो it is very important कि आप उसे mark कर दो. जो भी आप guess कर पा रहे हो आप उसे mark कर दो, because there are chances कि वो सही हो सकता है. और अगर आप उसे छोड़ आओगे, अगर आप उसे skip कर दोगे तो कोई भी scope नहीं है ना आपको marks मिलने का. Right? So don't be afraid to guess. The next question, next point, you can always come back to some questions in the end. Which means अगर कोई question आपको difficult लग रहा है या आपको लग रहा है I need more time to figure this out, so you can always mark it and come back to it in the end. So you can keep provision like this as well. Then, as I told you, if you finish early, revise the paper. And even if you don't, it is very important आप practice ही ऐसे करो कि आप paper time से पहले खत्म कर पाओ. That's why I've kept timers for you. कि आप timer के हिसाब से answer करोगे तो definitely you will be able to finish early and then revise the paper. And then it is very important to mark properly on the OMR sheet. अगर suppose जैसे मैंने आपको अभी बताया, आपने देखा आंसर तो B है, पर आपने गलती से C मार्क कर दिया, तो आपका तो आंसर गलत हो गया ना. आपको पता है फिर भी आपने गलत मार्क कर दिया, तो इसको मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. So very important to mark properly. और OMR sheet पे भी you know use this HB black pencil उसमें ना बॉक्स को जो सर्कल है, to fill it completely, properly. All right, so you have to take care of these instructions. Now let's move on. Now we are going to start with the final quiz. All right, now brace yourselves, bring in your pen and paper, and we will be starting with our final quiz. Let's start. Now for every question, you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute, 60 seconds you will be given as per the timer. Now why am I giving you 60 seconds? Because for every IU question, you are given more than 60 seconds in the final exam. तो मैंने सेफ साइड पे आपको 1 मिनट दिया है. अब इसमें दो कैटेगरी ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स होंगे. वन कैटेगरी जो लेस देन 1 मिनट में अपने क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लेते हैं. तो जब ये कर लेते हैं तो यू शुड तो अगर आपने जल्दी क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लिया तो आप फास्ट फॉरवर्ड करके आप आंसर देख लीजिए. पर वो कैटेगरी जो स्टूडेंट्स ये 1 मिनट में आंसर नहीं दे पाते हैं, तो आपको डिसहार्टन नहीं होना है, दुखी नहीं होना है. आप पॉज करें और पहले अपना आंसर दें. जो भी आंसर आपको लग रहा है सही है वो आप आंसर लिखें, उसके बाद ही आप आंसर देखें. ये यू शुड मेक श्योर कि आप कोई भी क्वेश्चन स्किप ना करें, आप सबके आंसर दें, चाहे वो सही हो या गलत, वो सेकेंडरी चीज है. मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट इज कि आप पहले आंसर दें. ओके, so and for every correct answer you give yourself 10 points, and for every incorrect answer no points. Why no points? Because IEO में there is no negative marking. आपका आंसर चाहे गलत हो या फिर आपने आंसर नहीं किया हो तो आपको 0 ही मिलेगा. ओके, सो इट इज बेटर कि सपोज अगर आप किसी क्वेश्चन में कंफ्यूजन है कि इसका आंसर क्या होगा, नहीं समझ आ रहा, तो आपने उसे छोड़ना नहीं है, आपने उसको आंसर करना है. और चाहे आपको लग रहा हो कि ये शायद ये आंसर सही हो सकता है बी या सी में से, तो आप उसे पक्का पॉइंट आउट करके आओ, मतलब उसे OMR शीट पे मार्क करके आओ, बिकॉज देयर आर चांसेस कि वो आपका आंसर सही हो जाए. ऑलराइट, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. Okay, so now we'll start with our final sample paper. Here, as the instructions say, each question achievers section carries 3 marks, whereas all other questions they carry 1 mark. Okay, and this is the first section, word and structure knowledge. So we'll be starting with it. Okay, so what do we have to do? For questions 1 to 24, choose the correct option to fill the blank. Like here, I got here at 1 and now it's 2:15, so I've dashed here over and out. Waited, waiting, been waiting, we had waited. Correct answer, C, been waiting, it is marked. Alright, now for you, you will be marking it in the OMR sheet. Okay, let's see. It was a dark night when the rain came dash down. Poured down, B. Pour down, C. Pouring down, or D. Pouring down? The correct answer is C. Pouring down. Final sample paper, I won't be providing you with much of explanations, just a brief one. Just a brief explanation. Here pouring, since we're talking about this past here, when the rain came pouring down, so it will be past perfect continuous. All right. Here the next question. He doesn't enjoy dash when we play football at school. He doesn't enjoy it, he doesn't enjoy he doesn't enjoy I, he doesn't enjoy they. The correct answer is A, it. He doesn't enjoy it. What is the it that we're talking about? The action of playing football at school. This is third person neutral. So for this we will be using it. He doesn't enjoy it. Alright. Others, he is third person singular male, I is first person singular, they is third person plural. Here, please tell me how to dash to the bus stop. A. Be, B. Get, C. Find, or D. See. Here we are talking about, please tell me how to dash to the bus stop, which means the person has to reach the bus stop. Alright, so the answer is B. How to get to the bus stop. Alright. When we dash at school, the gates shut behind the bus. When we did arrive, when we are arriving, when we had arrived, or when we have been arriving. Correct answer is C. When we had arrived. Talking about the past perfect, like something that happened in the past, first action, and then the second action, that the gates shut behind the bus. Alright. So in the past, first thing what happened was that they arrived at school. Alright. My brother Dash tried to jump over the fence and got stuck. My brother really stupid, my brother stupid, my brother more stupid, or my brother stupidly. Here we will be using the adverb stupidly. This is an adverb which means in a stupid manner. So my brother stupidly. Alright. Other ones really stupid, stupid, more stupid, all these are adjectives which cannot be used here. If the blank would have been here, we could have used my stupid brother, right? Dash here, it's long and straight. A wavily, B no, C gorgeous, D cut. Here the correct answer is C gorgeous. My teacher has gorgeous here, which is the adjective we are using. The other one's A wavily. Wavily is an adverb. We cannot really use it here. D cut is a D cut is what? It is a verb. Doesn't really make sense here. Here, my old car is parked dash the garage. A across from, B over to, C up on, or D right over. Now here, which we can say punctuation phrase, preposition phrase preposition phrase we are going to use. The old car is parked across from the garage. Across from the garage. The answer is A. Now, what does across from mean? Which means suppose if this is the road, here is the garage. So across from the garage, like opposite to the garage, here the car is parked. All right. Here, Anil thinks that dash honey is more important than happiness. Now here we have to choose the article, but here see we're talking about a regular phrase. यहाँ पे money के लिए हम कोई specific money की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, कोई general money की बात नहीं, यहाँ पे कोई भी reference नहीं आएगी for any article. Alright, so Anil thinks that money is more important than happiness. That's it. We'll be not using any article. Timer stopped working, dash, the test still ended on time. A, so the test still ended on time. B, because the test still ended on time. C, however the test still ended on time. Or D, consequently. Here the correct conjunction is C, however. Why however? Because however is, as I told you, it is used to refer when we are talking about some contrasting situations, contradictory, like although the timer stopped working, उसकी वजह से टेस्ट को टाइम पे एंड नहीं होना चाहिए था, but it still did. It is a contrast. These are contrasting two statements. So we're using however. All right. Okay, here we have a question tag. My friend cooks really well. Do they? Isn't it? Aren't they? Doesn't he? We're talking about friend. Okay, and for friend we use the third person. So where is third person used? D. Doesn't he? Alright, so the correct answer is D. Okay, here he dashed me that the end of term was next week. Asked me, told me, said me, or yelled me. Here the correct answer is C. The correct answer is B. He told me. Okay, now this is a statement that this person, this male person is telling me, okay, that the end of term was next week. Now here, so this is a statement, so for that we use told, right? Said would have been used if यहाँ पे we नहीं होता. He said that the end of term was next week, but we use told when we are referring to these two people and one is telling something to the second person. Okay, so here we use told. Here, it dash windy all day until around 6 p.m. Can be windy, has windy, was being windy, or it had been windy. The correct answer is D. Past perfect. It had been windy all day until around 6 p.m. Okay. where I was at the park, how I was at the park, while I was at the park, suddenly I was at the park. Correct answer is C, while. It is the conjunction of time, telling us that situation, the time, where was this person at the park. So that's what while is telling us. Okay. Alright, here I still need a couple more cups of milk so I can make the last dash puddings. Last some puddings, last few puddings, last couple puddings, or last one's puddings. Here the correct answer is last few puddings. Here puddings, we're talking about these, types of pudding, like one pudding, two puddings. We're talking about these few puddings, countable, so we are using few. Okay, here I will dash Spanish for 3 years next week. I will be learning, I will had been learning, I will have been learning, a D, I will was learning. Now here the correct answer is I will have been learning. Because the next week this person will complete 3 years, and for the past 3 years this person had been anyway learning Spanish, so we will be using I will have been learning. वो 3 साल हो जाएंगे when next week. All right. it's really not easy to dash of all this homework. A. Get on top. B. Get up in. C. Get in above. D. Get by quietly. Here the correct answer is A. Get on top. Get on top of all this homework means, really have all this in control and complete it on time, not missing any deadlines, etc. Alright, so it's really not easy to get on top of all this homework. Okay, here. After learning and playing chess for 10 years, Harry's interest in it began to fall up, fall in, or fall off. Here we're talking about the decline, right? His interest began to fall off. Okay, so the correct verb phrase is fall off, which means it starts to decline. Okay, here, my dog is so funny. He has no dash. He just runs around chasing things. A sense, B sense, C sense, or D again sense. Now here you see A sense. This one talks about a smell, a certain sort of smell. And B sense, this talks about money. Alright, and then we have C sense. This one talks about some common sense. And we have sense B. This one talks about some sort of a perfume. Alright. It has a certain ritual perfume which is used. So here, which one fits? Here he has no sense. Right? There's no intelligence, no sense. platform and I'll take dash luggage with me. Their luggage with me, our luggage with me, much luggage with me, or D, up luggage with me. Now here the correct answer is our luggage with me. Talking about belongingness. Whose luggage is it? Our luggage. So possessive pronoun our talks about belongingness. All right. I can't dash it when the wind is so cold. I can't stand it, I can't fun it when the wind is so cold, I can't resolve it or I can't crunch it. Here the correct answer is A. I can't stand it when the wind is so cold. Can't stand something, which means you cannot tolerate it. Alright. We have fun. Fun means enjoying. Resolve. Resolve means solving something. Then crunch. Crunch is the sound which is made. Right. Something is crumbled or otherwise. There are some really dash poor results this year. A. Shock poor results. B. Shocker poor results. C. Shocked poor results. D. Shockingly poor results. Here the correct answer is D. Because here we have to use an adverb. It is describing the question of how, telling us the manner, shockingly poor results. Alright, telling us this, some sort of extent as well. In other words, like shock, shock can be a verb or a pronoun. Be shocker, it is a noun. Alright, and then C, shocked, past form of shock. team could dash needs some more practice before next year. Could slide need some more practice? Could perhaps need some more practice? Could C cram need some more practice? Or D, could pay need some more practice? Here the correct answer is B, perhaps. I think the cricket team could perhaps need some more practice before next year. Alright. Traveling to school by bus really takes nowhere. B really takes forever. C really takes something. Or D really takes any time. Here the correct answer is B, forever. Now here it's something, when we say it takes forever, we're not really meaning it literally. Can't really mean it literally because traveling to school by bus cannot literally take forever. Rather, when we say something is taking forever, we are actually referring to it as that it is taking a lot of time. Okay. Okay, here I can't dash this anymore. I am going home. I can't arm this anymore. I can't stomach this anymore. I can't foot this anymore. Or I can't head this anymore. Here the correct answer is I can't stomach this anymore. When we say I can't stomach this anymore, we means I cannot tolerate this anymore. Or I can't bear with this any longer. Alright. So here, what do we have to do? We have to choose for questions 25 and 26. We have to choose the option with the correct spelling. So what does this say? We have, how do you spell the word that means a sense of right or wrong? So यहाँ पे meaning भी आ गया and spelling भी आ गई. The spell the word that means a sense of right and wrong. The sense of right and wrong, conscience. Okay, and conscience is spelled as B. Conscience. It refers to our sense of right and wrong. All right. How do you spell the word that means journey? Talk about journey. Here the word for equating to journey is expedition. And how is expedition spelled? C. E-X-P-E-D-I-T-I-O-N. All right. Alright, now here for questions 27 and 28, choose the correct synonym of the given word. Here the word given to us is hazy. The options are A. Overcast, B. Beautiful, C. Relaxed, or D. Large. Now here the synonym we have to choose. What are synonyms? Synonyms are the words which have similar meanings. Alright. Now hazy means something that is, we can say, covered by this haze, that foggy thing that we have. Alright, that is called as hazy. Then we have overcast, which is the synonym of hazy. The answer is A. Overcast also means like when the sky is, covered by a certain gray clouds. Okay, so that is referred to as overcast. The other words, beautiful, something very pretty, and elegant, relaxed, someone who's something that is simple and easy and relaxing. Large, something that's very big. All right. Alright, now here, convince. The options are force, destroy, persuade, deter. Now, which is the synonym of convince? The answer is C, persuade. Now, convince means, insisting someone to do something, encouraging someone to do something. And so does persuade. Here, force means actually using certain measures, resorting to certain extreme measures to make someone do something. Destroy, spoiling something. Deter is actually the opposite of convince. It is the antonym. Deter means discouraging someone to do something. All right. Alright, so here for questions 29 and 30, choose the correct antonym of the given word. What are antonyms? Antonyms are the words which mean the opposite to the given word. So here the word is moral. The options are desperate, elegant, musical, dishonorable. Here the correct answer is D, dishonorable. Moral means something, full of values and ethics. Dishonorable, something which is not honorable, which means something that is unethical and immoral. All right. Desperate, someone who's it's an adjective which can mean someone who's trying very hard to do something. Elegant, something that's beautiful and graceful. Musical, we know what it means, something that has music in it. Okay, now the next word is scold. Options are approve, plead, remove, design. Here, the correct answer is, just a minute, yes. The correct answer is A, approve. Now here, scold means, like when your parents scold you, you know what it means, datna. Approve is saying yes to something. Plead is requesting something. Remove is expiring something or making it go, letting it go. All right. Alright, so now we move towards the reading comprehension. This is the next section of our sample paper. Let's start. Okay, so here, like we did in the reading comprehension, first we'll go through the paragraph and then we'll go to the questions. Okay, here, Janine was going to visit her cousin Melandri in the city. It was her first visit and she was a bit nervous. She had not been to a big town before. Okay, now here we introduced with Janine and Melandri. Okay, Janine was going to visit her cousin. Janine and Melandri are cousins, and Janine is going for the first time to visit Melandri in the city, and she had not really been to some sort of city or this bigger town before. It was her first time. Let's see then what happens. Janine was going to meet her cousin at the train station, and then they were planning to go to a museum. Janine was excited about the museum. She had never been to one of those before either. Alright, so now Janine and Melandri, they had plans that they will, meet at the train station, and then from there they will go to the museum. So Janine was really excited about that as well, because she had neither been to the city before and she hadn't been to a museum as well. Alright, so then in the early morning, Janine took a train from the small village that she lived in. It was quite easy to find Melandri because she was already waiting for her and waving. So what Janine did, in the early morning she took a train to go to the town or the city and move Melandri. And when she reached there, it was quite easy for her to figure out where Melandri was, because she was also excited. She was waving her hand so that Janine could easily spot her. Then they walked down the main road and then down some smaller side roads. However, Janine thought all the roads seemed very big and that there were a lot of cars and people. Now here they started walking. They had this main road and smaller roads that they were walking on. But for Janine, all these roads seemed very big. And there were a lot of cars and a lot of people, because she had probably come from some rural area, some village sort of thing, a certain rural settlement. And when she came to this big city and this big town, she saw like these roads which seemed very big to her, and she saw so many cars and people. Alright, so after about 10 minutes, they reached the museum. It was a grand old building like nothing Janine had seen before. So after about 10 minutes of walking, what happened? They finally reached the museum, and Janine was so shocked and at seeing the building of the museum, because she hadn't really seen something so big earlier. Let's see then what happens. Inside the museum, Melandri bought the tickets. The museum had many things to look at that could not be seen anywhere else in the world. It was huge, and Janine was worried that they might get lost, but there were lots of maps to help them find their way around. So finally they went inside the museum, and what they see, and Melandri bought the tickets. Now this museum was so huge and it had so many things, and that Janine, started thinking that, I might get lost here. But what was the plus point? What was an advantage? That they had a lot of maps over there to help them figure out their way around, and even if they got lost or lost track of their path, they could easily refer to the map and figure their way out. Then the strangest thing for her was seeing the whole history of their country laid out in cases in the large hall at the center of the museum. So what was the strangest thing for her? What was the we can say the most shocking thing for her? She was so surprised by the fact that she saw the whole history of their country. It was just at the center of the museum in that particular large hall. Then neither Janine nor Melandri knew that their country had once ruled large parts of the world and had ports and soldiers in almost every part of it. The girls wondered why they had never learned about this at school, and Janine decided she would ask her teacher as soon as she got back. So both these girls, what they did, they saw they were so amazed by the history of their country, laid down in that hall, and they started wondering, and they were also amazed by these facts that their country had ruled so many parts of the world, that soldiers and ports almost everywhere. And they also started to wonder that, why hadn't they learned all this in school. All right. Next, what happens? 2 days later, when Janine was sitting at her desk in class, she asked the teacher about the history of the country. Her teacher told her not to worry and that they would learn about their own country later in the year. Now, 2 days later, Janine was in her class, right, and she asked her teacher about the history she had seen in the museum. So she was curious about it, so she asked her teacher. But her teacher told her that, don't worry, child, and you will learn about your country sometime in this year. Okay. Then Janine didn't like this answer and asked why it should be such a long time away. The teacher laughed softly and told Janine there were so many exciting things to learn at school and it could not all be taught simultaneously. Janine was not 100% convinced, but she was happy to know she would get to learn more about her country later in the year. Now here you see what happened. When Janine didn't like the answer of that, you're going to learn about this later this year, she didn't like the answer. So she asked the teacher, why is it such a long time away? The teacher laughed at the innocence of Janine and she said, Janine, there are so many things to learn at school. We can't really just learn history all the time, right? So, and there are so many things like history, maths, geography, so many subjects, all of them cannot be taught simultaneously, which means all of them cannot be taught together. You need to have, this one by one approach. First we'll teach you this, then you'll learn another thing. All right. But still, Janine was not 100% convinced with this answer, but she was still happy that after all, sometime later in the year, we're going to learn about our country. All right. So this was the passage, and now we will answer the questions based on this passage. All right. Okay, so here choose the best title or heading for the passage. Okay, here history uncovered, friends in town, big museums, traveling to the country. Well, here technically it can be your choice to choose any of these titles, but here because it is an MCQ question and you will be marked for one correct answer, so you have to think logically about the title. Now here, which title? What was the theme of the story? That these two girls, they fall in love with the history of their country, right? They uncover the history. So we can say the appropriate title is A, History Uncovered. All right, because that became the central theme of the story. Okay, why was Melandry easy to find? Her hat was bright and flowery, her hands were easy to see, her smile was big and toothy, or her clothes were old and dull. So here we saw that it was quite easy to find Melandry because she was already waiting for her and waving. So the answer is her hands were easy to see. Janine thought the building was A dull, B busy, C huge, D exciting. Here, after about 10 minutes they reached the museum. It was a grand old building like nothing Janine had seen before. It's a grand old building. It was huge. C. Now next, what did Janine think was strange? What did she think was strange? Here, the strangest thing for her was seeing the whole history of their country laid out in cases in large hall at the center of the museum. So what was strange for her? History hall, streets and roads, teaching or teaching, or train journey? The history hall. Right. So what does the word simultaneously mean in the final paragraph? Now, as I told you Here, simultaneously means what? In a difficult way, over and over again, much later at the same time. Simultaneously means D, at the same time. Okay. Alright, now we have another paragraph. Let's go through this. Bella was fed up and bored of being cooped up inside. So, as soon as the weather seemed to be getting better, she took the opportunity to stretch her legs and get some fresh air. And the air was exactly that. Okay, now there's this story about Bella. So she was, tired and she was getting bored of staying inside the house. So what happened? Um, when she saw that the weather was getting better for her to go out, she took this opportunity and she went out to get some fresh air. And the air was exactly that. Other people may call it icy with an unpleasantly strong wind, but for the girl it was exhilarating and refreshing. She had wrapped up warm in a large overcoat and hat, gloves and scarf. Okay, so here you see, now the air was exactly that, which means the air was what? It was icy and it had that strong winds outside, cold, strong winds outside. So for the girl, now Bella, according to Bella, the air outside was not strong and windy. For her, it was exhilarating and refreshing, which means she was enjoying it. So she had dropped a bomb. She was wearing enough clothes, overcoat and hat and gloves and scarf. Then her fingers had a tendency of getting much colder than the rest of her body. So she always wore gloves when the temperature was under 5 degrees. On this day, she wore her favorite pair that were very insulating and made of natural fibers and kept her hands warm. So now she was covered up well. She was wearing enough clothes. So she always has this. She always had these gloves on. Why? Because her body had this tendency, her fingers usually got colder. So she always wore gloves to avoid that. And on this day, she was in fact wearing her favorite pair, which kept her really warm. Right. Next, Bella opened the front door and made bold strides down the path to get her blood moving properly. After a few minutes of walking like this and using lots of energy, she was as warm as she would have been at the height of summer. So Bella now opens her home door and then she went outside. Alright, she went outside to get her blood moving properly, like to make herself warmer, to have her blood moving so that her body does some activity and she feels warm. So after a few minutes of walking, what happens? A lot of energy is used, and then she is just as warm as she would have been at the height of summer, which means her body is really warm as it could easily have been in summer. Then she took her hat off and her hair blew in the wind. Her ears were a little chilly, but they helped to cool the rest of her as she walked on briskly. She was generally very healthy and put this down to the fact that she loved to walk whatever the weather. Now you see here what happened. Well, she was really covered up with lots of clothes on, but she took her hat off, and once she took her hat off, her hair also started to blow because of the wind. So her ears were also a little chilly, but while the removal of her hat, it actually helped her body to remain a little bit cool as well, because her body while walking was generating the heat. So it was kind of neutralized by the wind which was getting to her ears. Okay. Then she was generally very healthy and put this down to the fact that she loved to walk whatever the weather. She felt that less healthy people would stay at home on a day like this one, but they wouldn't be as happy as she was. So here this part is telling us that she really liked to walk, and she's thinking that the people who are like less healthier than her, they would rather stay home on these days where there are these strong chilly winds going on, but but they would not be as happy as her. That even though those less healthy people, even if they stay home, they will not be as happy as Bella was at that time. Alright, then she thought that the fresh air definitely lifted her entire mood, and she went from feeling somber to excitable and full of energy. So the fresh air, going out, it actually helped her mood, and she went from feeling sad to feeling excited and a lot of energy and blood running through. Okay, then the trees had lost most of their leaves and their skeletal figures were clear against the grey sky. Bella looked up at them and could see birds perching with difficulty. Now she's looking around and she sees like these trees, they have lost most of their trees, so they are referred to as the skeletal figures because they've lost their leaves. And she was looking at them, and she also saw that there were these birds who were feeling really cold. Now we humans, we have our clothes to keep us warm, but birds don't really have any clothes or any blankets to keep them warm, right? So she looked at the birds and she could see them struggling, right? So see birds perching with difficulty, struggling to keep themselves in place while the wind tried to blow them away. Now here the wind was all, now birds are these tiny creatures and the wind can easily blow them away. The birds, they were trying to keep themselves in a place, keep themselves tucked in a place or safe in a place where the wind doesn't really reach them directly. Then some birds occasionally gave up and let the wind carry them with great speed to wherever it seemed to want them to go. She thought this was a clever but scary thing for them to do. Now, what some birds did, some birds just gave up. They could not, their energy and their bodies could not resist the wind any longer. So they just gave up, and whatever direction the wind was blowing into, the birds also went with them. Right. Then she thought this was a clever but scary thing for them to do. Bella wondered why the wind seemed to be in such a hurry today. She was walking against it, but it was still trying hard to push her towards the place that the birds had been taken. She resisted and strode on. So now we see the wind was in the opposite direction of where Bella was walking to. So it was wondering that why is wind in such a hurry? Why is it so strong and chilly? So but still she resisted and she strode on in the opposite direction, the blowing of the wind. Alright, so this was a small little passage. Now we will move towards the questions. Alright, here choose the best title or heading for the passage. A. Enjoying the chill. B. Indoors. C. A wind too strong, or D. Loving the rain. Now here you see, as I told you before, the title could be anything as per you, but since we have to choose one, we should use the central theme, which is used in the passage. Alright, so the central theme that is used is enjoying the chill, because we're talking about Bella, who rarely enjoys the wind, so we can say the title to be enjoying the chill. Alright. What was different about Bella's hands? A. They got hot quickly. B. They got numb in the snow. C. They got cold easily. Or D. They got sweaty in gloves. Now here we see her fingers had a tendency of getting much colder than the rest of her body. So the answer is C. They got cold easily. Girl get warm? A. By talking, B. by moving, C. by singing, or D. by running. So how did she get warm? Let's see. After a few minutes of walking like this and using lots of energy, she was just as warm. So she was moving, she was walking. Right. The birds were A. enjoying it, B. funny, C. crazy, or D. sensible. So where it was? Where was it? She thought this was a clever but scary thing for them to do. So she thought that the birds were clever. So the answer is D, sensible. Alright. Okay, so here, what is the meaning of the word sombre in the second paragraph? In the second paragraph, yes. So where was it? Here, sombre. Feeling sombre to excitable and full of energy. Here, excited, confused, bored or tired. From bored to excitable, the correct answer is C, bored. So here for questions 41 to 45, what we have to do is we have to choose the most suitable option to complete each conversation. Let's see. Adrian says, "Have you seen my socks anywhere?" So Bob would reply, "No, just dash another pair and let's go. Let's get another pair, let's see another pair, let's catch another pair, let's had another pair." This is pretty easy. The answer is A. Now let's just get another pair and let's go. Okay. Okay, so here Alice says, "Do we have any other chairs? This one is really bad to dash. Be at relax with, sit on, or crouch next to. It's pretty easy. We are talking about chair. So what would the chair be really bad to? The chair will be really bad to sit on. It's easy. Mother, have you seen my glasses anywhere? To which daughter replies, sure mom, here we have, here you go, here I am, or here go now. So here the correct answer is sure mom, here you go, which means here are your glasses. Okay. Craig asks, are you keeping a look dash for the restaurant? Beth, yes, I'm still looking but haven't seen it yet. So are you options? A, are you keeping a look in for? B, are you keeping a look out for? C, are you keeping a look on for? Or D, are you keeping a look with for? Here the correct answer is B. Are you keeping a look out for? This verb phrase look out, it means, are you looking out for the restaurant? It means if you are taking notice and being vigilant. All right, so looking out for. this problem before we go home. It says, I couldn't agree more, spot on. Options A, we need to break down this problem. B, we need to arrange this problem. Or we need to pick up this problem. Or D, we need to sort out this problem. The correct answer is D. We need to sort out this problem, which means solve it. Alright? Okay, so now we move to the Achievers section. This Achievers section is going to have 5 questions and they carry 3 marks in comparison to 1 mark each for the regular questions. Alright, let's start. Okay, here questions 46 and 47, choose the correct option to fill the blank. Let's see. Dash did you bump into earlier this morning? Who did you bump into? Whose did you bump into? Why did you bump into? Or what did you bump into? Now here, correct answer is A. Asking about a person, like who did you bump into earlier on this morning? Alright, so the correct answer is A. Who? How I train for the marathons by so many people. Here I have been asking about, I'm asking about, or I was asked about, or I had asked about. So here the correct answer is I was asked about, which means this person was the one who was being asked. This person was not the one who was going around asking questions. Alright, so the correct answer is C. I was asked about. Alright. word? The word is eligible. Options are A, unpopular, B, permitted, C, great, D, woeful. So here eligible, the options are unpopular, permitted, great, woeful. Eligible means something is capable and relevant for a certain thing. Here the correct synonym, the word which means similar meaning, is permitted. Alright. The unpopular, something that's not popular, great, something that's good, going, woeful, something sorrowful. So here choose the correct antonym of the given word. The word is A, retrieve. The options are redevelop, collect, lose, define. Here the antonym. The antonym means the word which is opposite. The word is retrieve. The antonym of retrieve is lose. Retrieve means getting something, collecting something. Like here redevelop could be a synonym. Collect could be a synonym. Now lose is an antonym. Alright, define means giving a meaning of something. Alright, so here choose the most suitable option to complete the conversation. Father, it's dash time you started training again. Son replies, true, I've got to get myself prepared. The options are A, it's around time you started training again. B, it's on time you started training again. Or C, it's about time you started training again. Or D, it's somewhere time that you started training again. Here the correct answer is it's about time. Now we use the phrase it's about time when there is high time that something should start happening. High time means like it is the correct opportunity and the right condition and duration to start that particular thing. Alright, so we use it's about time. Okay, so with this we finish off the sample paper. I hope you have understood all these questions. Right now all the questions are done.
So that's all for the sample paper and the various guidelines and the whole series of classes for IEO. I hope you have understood all the concepts and whatever mistakes you made in the paper, analyze them. make sure you rectify them. If there was any conceptual problem you faced, make sure you go back and revise the concept once again and then attempt that question again. Alright, so that's all from my side. I hope you do well. Thank you for watching and all the best.